If you often beat yourself up about the mistakes you make, where you're falling short, how you should be doing more, better, etc., etc., then stay with me to find out why you keep doing this to yourself and how to stop this actually demotivating self-criticism. So why do we all do this to ourselves? And we all do to some degree, and that's because it's a mixture of nature and nurture. So the nature bit is the neuroscience piece. Now this is all down to the old amygdala, which is in the oldest part of our brain at the back here. Now this is a survival instinct, so this kicks into action when there's a threat, when there's a danger, and it was originally designed to keep us safe from lions and tigers. When there's a danger, we run, but it's also kicks into action when there's a threat or a danger, so when we're not perfect, when we make a mistake. Now this is where our upbringing comes into it, because depending on how those alleged failures, mistakes were responded to, depending on the level of achievement we had to get to also get recognition and praise, will depend on the extent to which you beat yourself up, will depend on the extent to which you think you've got to achieve this, 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 to be accepted, to be loved, to be acknowledged, or on the flip side of that, get punished. And if you'd like more information about how your upbringing determines the extent to which you beat yourself up, then there is a link to an article in the written version of this blog on my homepage, changeyourlifein5.com. So knowing all of that, what to do about it? So tip number 1, notice and record. Now the problem with beating yourself up is it has become so normal and so ingrained. So the first thing you need to start doing is noticing when you're doing it. So for example, the next time you say to yourself, oh, for God's sake, why didn't you get that right? Oh, for God's sake, you're so stupid. Just stop in that moment and check in with yourself. Would you say that to a dear friend or a close friend? No. Well, hopefully not, but seriously, no. So why say that to yourself and notice how painful and hurtful that is. When you start doing that, also start recording, because you will start to notice some common things that you say to yourself too. Tip number 2, replace. Now, far from being the motivating self-talk that a lot of people think it is, self-criticism, self-judgment is actually the opposite. It's demotivating, and this is the resistance I come up against a lot with my very high-achieving clients. And this is because they think if they let go of all this self-judgment, they're going to stop achieving, they're going to stop wanting to go for the next thing, get on and do better, be perfect. And this has been proven by 5 separate psychological studies to be absolute rubbish. I'm going to be really polite. Absolute rubbish. So for all you high achievers out there, I am going to reiterate, self-criticism, self-judgment equals less achievement. Self-criticism and self-judgment equals less achievement. So I really want you to start replacing that negative self-talk with phrases that will motivate you. So for example, that was a really tough decision. You did do your best. Okay, I may have not done great there, but what's the learning for next time? And this is a great one. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I am just human and a work in progress like everyone else. Oh, chill out and take good care of yourself. What's the kindest thing I could do for myself right now? Or you are good enough, because you are good enough. Tip 3, comfort yourself. Now remember the old amygdala? That's gone into something called an amygdala hijack. So because you failed, because you weren't perfect, because you screwed up, you've gone into that. So in order to bring yourself out of that, do something called the hugging practice, which actually calms down your system. This actually releases oxytocin, so helps you feel calmer, more cared for, and reduces the cortisol, the stress hormone, in your system, so it immediately reduces your stress level. A bit weird, I know, but seriously try it, it actually works. And the more you can do this for yourself, the more you'll be able to do it for yourself next time. So you're just learning to self-comfort. And if you can't do it, if you're in a meeting and you can't physically do that to yourself, although actually you can get away with it, then just imagine yourself doing it for yourself. It has the same response in the brain and the body. So that's it. So let's recap. Number 1, notice and record all of those mean sayings. 2, replace them with really positive, motivating ones. And 3, comfort yourself and know that you are good enough. There is no such thing as perfect. You are just a human being like the rest of us and a work in progress. So take care of yourself out there and share this with anyone else you think would find it useful. Thanks for watching.